Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. We'll look at the S&P and the NASDAQ on the way through. We've had some volume come into the markets on the Friday. As I mentioned, derivatives were rolling over, so you'll see large volume spikes in stocks. For the GAN people, I guess, you'll have the equinox and you'll have the full moon and all sorts of things. Now, in Elliott terms, we're looking for from wave 4 to wave 5 up here, and we're looking for 5 waves, so nothing's really changed except confirming that move last week by making new highs there. And obviously when we make new highs, there's always a bit of a scurry and whatnot, and you know, a lot of the times it likes to come back and test. So you know how it sort of pushed up here. You can see when it pushed up through here, right? It pushed up through and it comes back and checks it. You know, so it's like walking upstairs, really, in that sort of case. So we'll just be mindful of that. But otherwise, you know, we should just be climbing higher this week. I would think, but always money management is the only thing that fundamental people and technical people can agree on. So make sure that you've got that into play. Now we'll look at the daily chart here for this. So going from wave 4 to wave 5 up here, pay no attention to the price that I've got up here or the time that I have over here. This is just a drunken mud map of how to get home, so to speak. So we've got the 1 and 2 here. Now there's different ways of looking at this this move in here. But the good news is that, you know, we have pushed higher through here and here. So the market's not going to finish here, you know, because we don't have 5 waves to the upside. Could we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Possible. But even so, we'd still just come back and then we would go up again, you know. Obviously would come back a distance at that, you know, at that point. So it's good to have a bit of a look around and, you know, get your head out of the box and see other people's counts and you know, and work on your own and all of these sorts of things. These are just ideas, of course. So we don't really see a nice sort of pullback with this particular wave 2 in here, but we can count 5 waves to this point. So if there's been a mistake made, it would be this here where we have like a more of a 1 and 2 in here for this. So just be mindful of that. But stocks are suggesting, except Apple, that we should just, you know, sort of continue to sort of push higher. The other good news here too is that I might just go to the intraday here on the 20k tick here, because we're into minor group 2 now as well, so just sort of hitting the intraday space here. And the thing here is that, you know, we've got this you know, we've got, as I always say, we've got between 5,000 and 6,000. We've got the Fibonacci numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. And when we talk about 8, we talk about group 2. So it's the 65 number in here, the 5650, and this one here. And I've been talking about it since the cows come home because all of this over here. But you can see that, you know, we had a bit of a battle getting through it over here. So it, you know, it may come back and test that. And the situation here is that if the market's going to push up here, you know, you basically just want the market to prove to you, so every step basically, you know. So like if I was going to put in a long position here, then I would wait for this, you know, first high above the level here, and then I would have, you know, the long trade above here, and then if that got clicked in, well, then I'd be off at that point. So that, you know, that's confirming that this next level here, you could go, I've got 72 here, but you could look at it as 570 as well. Not a big deal in this case. But yeah, so it could come back. It hasn't actually checked this yet, but it's sort of fully in there at this particular point, and I got the indicator running here pretty quickly. But yeah, so that's that. But basically what I'm looking at here is from this wave 2 here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2, and then going up to wave 3 up here, and 4 and 5, you know, wherever they go to up here. So yeah, there's some stocks, you know, when I look at the stocks, there's stocks that we could put wave 1 up here, right? Like Apple's a bit like that. There's other stocks that we could put this wave 1 down here and go wave 2 here. So there's a variety of things that are playing out at the moment within stocks. So, most of the time it's all pretty much sort of same-ish, but there is a bit of variety. So I'm just staying open and flexible, and we'll see how we go. But yeah, look, we've been in a bit of a risk-on situation, and that should continue. So from the 20k to the 1k here, we've got we'll just get in a little bit more data here so you can get your bearings here. So got this wave 2 here, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up for 5 here. So it kind of fits okay when you look at it like that, Then we've had this, cacophony here with the Feds and all the rest of it, the normal thing that we get. We just wait for the dust to settle and pick it up from that point. So the A, the B, and the C wave here for this. And then last week we're just sort of looking at this pushing up, and we're looking for wave 2 to come back. And it looks like wave 2's in there. I think that, as I just mentioned, it could pull back into the 5-6-5-0 here, the lower end of group 2. That's possible. We've got this 3-wave situation here. So if it was, if we got 5 waves here, then we can get another 5 over here, which we have. So technically you could go long above that one there, because if that was taken out, you'd be on your way at that point, So, yeah, look, it's possible to have, a 5-wave move down here and then a push up at that point. So that's the only caveat I've really got for this one. But otherwise, we're in the bullish market. So if that top comes out, then it's not going to come back to here, because this could be all of this could be the A wave, the B wave, and then the C wave down here. So anyway, if that top gets taken out, you know where you are. And if it, if otherwise you'll get 5 waves down here somewhere. So maybe not right to this point, but maybe the 665 is always a nice number in here. But that's the S&P. We'll take a closer look at that when we do the indices video next. And the NASDAQ, I'll just keep it simple. We've got this big wave 1 over here and wave 2 here, and the same as the S&P last week, and that we're looking at wave 1 and 2 getting through the Feds sort of thing here, technically sort of going long above here. I won't go into any smaller time frame at this point, but what you see here is this large number, and it's going to be a resistance. It's already sort of shown that, and eventually with a bit of patience you'll see it as support. If we're going to go to add another trade to this, we want a support, so we have to wait for the first high above the level, and then we can go in on the second high, that sort of thing. But we shouldn't be too much. A fair bit of wind has been taken out of the sails here, and could we put wave 1 up here on this, or even over here? Possibly. That's doable. Is this wave 2 like the S&P? Can that sort of come out? Can that come back down here and then go up? Yep. Look, all I can say is that it's going to get a little bit messy, and if we look at this 20 here, so we can take the 200, the 100 here, so it's just 1, 2, and 3 that make up this subgroup 1 here, 100, where are we? There we are, and 300, and then 500 here. Close enough for a Monday morning. So yeah, so you can kind of just expect swings in this initial stage here, group 2 here and group 1 here. Visually, you kind of just want to see it sitting on, testing some sort of number. This is a bit extreme here, but basically it was testing group 1 here and then making new highs, So we basically want to see the same thing over here as well for this. But yeah, look, all in all, in the slightly bigger picture here, whichever way you want to look at this, you can see that there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So even if I'm wrong, because we got 5 waves here, we'll still be heading, we need to go higher. It's not like we got 3 waves up here. We got 5 waves up here. Whichever way you want to count it, there can be a variation on that. But we got 5. We don't have 3. So we're in a bullish market. So yeah, just remember that. And this is Apple, so this is the daily chart. We don't need that. So yeah, so here we're basically just looking at 1 and 2 in here, and then there'll be 3 and 4 and 5 up for the third wave, the fourth wave here, and then up for the fifth wave here. Wherever that goes up here, like I say, just don't take my wave counts, price points as spot on. But basically, from wave 4 here to wave 5, we're looking for 5 waves. So this is like the S&P and the NASDAQ, of course. So that's where we are. So it's pretty simple in this case. I mean, we get into complex things, and the market beats us up, and we all the rest of it. But here, this is where you need to have some spondoolies in the market here. This is the trend. If we go into the daily to the 20K here for Apple. Yeah, so last week we were looking at this as being wave 1 and 2 and looking for 1 and 2, so 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. So we can see that, that's a selling bar there, the seller's in control. So it doesn't look like it's pulled back enough just yet, for this little wave 2 here. So that's what we'll be sort of looking at. We'll go to 1000. So yeah, this is the wave 2 here, counting up here for wave 1 and coming back for wave 2 here. So how far it pulls back, you can do the 61.8% and all the rest of it, but basically we'll be looking at something like this. So the next trade over here, this top here, that can come over to here when that occurs. But I'm just going to leave it there because this will disappear. We can have a look at this on the 100 and make it a bit smaller here. So it looks, I mean, I could put the irony here is I could put the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave here, and finished, and wave 2 in here. That's quite doable. That's why we need to be long above that top. But if that's not the case, then we can just stretch this out a little bit over here and and look at this, not quite, we've got sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not quite there just yet on this and that. So a little bit of patience here. We may have to take that trade. We may be able to improve it over here. If we do get this C wave down here, we could get the first 5 waves up here and look at the ABC here and then look to move into group 2 over here, get a position here and positions across here, and then scale in on top of minor group 2 here through sub levels through here. So we'll just see, but that's the starting point at this stage. It's basically the same as this pattern, our most common pattern here. So we've got this top here, we can go long above here, we try to get the second high, we could improve it over here around this, this level. So yeah, just work it through like that. So that's the first stock out of the way. I don't need to go into the bigger picture too much with all of them, but Amazon is 1 and 2 here. And in this case, we could look at it in a couple of different ways. We could look at it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for a bigger 1 and 2 here. A little bit like Apple in a sense, but just hasn't quite got 5 waves up here yet. So we could look at it like that. I could bring this over to here and shorten it up. I could also grab this here and put this bigger wave 1 over here and then build a case where it doesn't pull back too much here. It goes up a bit further but stays here. In one way or another, it's heading up to that 200. When you get a market above the 180, right, this is where it gets, everybody's thinking about this, it'll, migrate across the 190 here as resistance and then support, but it'll be pulled up here. So there's different ways to count this one, but if you're long, just stay long. We've got wave 1 here and 2 here. We've still got a long way to go up here. I don't even have wave 3 in here just yet, but don't even have the other numbers there yet either, but 3 and 3 there. I might just give that a bit more gravity and size. So we're looking at You know, we still need 4 and 5 here to get. What will probably happen is that most of the stocks will sort of round up into these. You know, in this case, with 1s and 2s in the market, I've got different things going on, but that's okay. We'll get everything up into this wave 3 here and wave 4, and everything will start pulling in together, and they'll all pull in together for this wave 3, this way. So basically, we can trade long in the markets till you get to this wave 3 here. Then we've got to work through wave 4, which wave 2 was simple, so wave 4 could be, you know, big and ugly, the guideline of alternation. So we'll see how this goes. So pay no attention to these heights here either at this point, but you do know that it will be going higher. That's the main gist of it all. So yeah, look, this could be counted in different ways. So I'll just put wave 2 here, and I can put this wave 1 up here and do it that way as well. Yeah, I can see it's different. There's just different ways to count this. But it doesn't matter. It's still going up, and it's not going to pull back much. It is weaker because it was quite strong in this 3rd wave here, and this 5th wave. You can see it sort of, you know, it's on more of an angle, so it's bowing out a little bit. So you know, it can pull back a little bit. Okay, so then we come over to NVIDIA, and with NVIDIA here, we've got wave 2 here. We've got wave 1 over here, which is pretty clear at this point. So in this case, we've got wave 1 over here. So it's pulled back here to wave 2, so that's all good. It's quite possible if Apple pulls back, then the worst case scenario here is that we go 3, 4, and 5 here, and then we go up at that point. But we're going to keep the stop out the way here. And the other side is that if this just goes up from here, then we're going to be adding over here. Now, you may not have all of these 3 positions in here or whatever, but this is the number that we're adding on next, you know. If this does come down here, well, then we'll be adding on probably the midpoint here, the 15, if we can. But this is the situation at the moment. So we've got wave 2 with wave 1 and 2. There's really, I mean, it looks bearish, and it looks like this one's going to be right. But yeah, just another little move down here and up here is probably the case. But yeah, we'll see tomorrow, and we'll look to add on that as well in due course. And this is Meta Platforms here. So in this instance, we've got 1 and 2 here. We've taken out the top here, so that's all good, and we're looking at 1 and 2 here. We can see this is moving quite nicely. I don't think we've got three in here yet, but that's sort of where we're heading. All the markets are heading up to this wave 3 here, and we're, in one way or another, all the markets are in this wave 3 here, somewhere in this wave 3 here, okay? None of them have got to this wave 3 yet. So that's good, but that's where that is, and we'll just go into the 100 area here and pick it up from wave 2 down here. And yeah, so we've got in this case 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and this is such a nice 3rd wave. It's building out here. I could put this wave 3 over here as well, but I'll just leave it here, and I'll just see what happens in group 2 here. So these wave 4s here, these are all 1s and 2s here. So now we're getting into 4s and 5s. So it's telling us that from this wave 2 going up to this wave 3 over here, we're in the, you know, there's between this wave 2 and this wave 3, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. And these 1s and 2s here are the beginning, the middle is here, and now we're in the end, we're in the, you know, the second third of it all, so to speak, the end of it. So that's where we are at the moment with this. So all we need to do is really just stay long. We can bring this up here a bit further. But yeah, looking good at this point. So yeah, that's that. Then we come over to Netflix. It's a little bit odd. I won't go into the bigger picture, but we've got wave 2 here, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. I know wave 4 overlaps wave 1 and all the rest of it, but it's just still the best fit with 1 here and ABC for 2 here, and then we're looking for 1 up here last time we spoke, and so wave 2's come back a little bit. Looks like we've got the little impulse wave here, so could probably put that there. It's a bit small, so I'll put that up there, and we could look at this as a little 1 little 1 and maybe the 2 here. That looks like 5 waves as well. We'll see. I wonder why that's doing that for. That's a bit weird. Maybe I'll put that over there and close it and it'll stay over there. Yeah, so it'll be something like this here. You could go long at this point here if you wanted to take on risk. If you've got these positions here, you don't need that one. Do you know what I mean? If you've got one here, one of these here, we can build on we can build on 10 at that point, you know. And you have to wait for the first high above the level at that point too. So, but that all looks pretty good at this point. So we'll just leave that as is. Then we're over to Google here. Google's got this really big move down here. I could look at it as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave here and put it as a wave 4. I just don't know if it's going to get up here and finish off up here. It probably will. Probably we can look at this here as an A, B, C pattern here. But in a way, if I call this a wave 4 down here, the problem is that like the NASDAQ and the other stocks, this is its wave 4 there. They've already got this wave 1 in place here and wave 2 here. You know what I mean? So they're in this third wave going to the upside. So this one is giving us an impulse wave up here. But yeah, so I'm a bit unsure about all of this. And obviously, this market will come up quite high, actually. It should come up the way that it's traveling. It should be up here somewhere, at least. It'd probably take the top out here and we'll need to bring all this across back over here, That's what will probably happen. But yeah, it's a good month or so behind the other markets, in terms of timing. So that sort of, it bothers me a little bit, but it doesn't stop us trading it. And and there's also different ways to count this up here, but we'll just stay with this one for the moment. We could also put this back down to here and do things, but if I need to change it around, I will. But it should be sort of okay. This is a little corrective pattern here, so we should push up here, we should push back, we could come back, cover that gap there at worst, and then push up there, something like that, So I wouldn't really bother about it too much, but just stay long, keep the stop out of the way. We should be good to go. We're in a nice trend, as I said. Microsoft, we've got 1 and 2 over here for this, and in this case here, yeah, so maybe I could do that a little bit differently there, but yeah, I think this is okay at this point. You could probably drop that down here now for this one. Taking that out there would be okay at that point. In fact, I'll just put it back up here. Just in case this is some sort of, we need to put wave 2 over here, but I think we're okay at this point. I mean, what the good news here in terms of the trading levels, we've got 400 here, which is the medium level, then we've got the minor 1, 2, and 3 here that make up minor group 1, and we can see that it's like come back. We've had the first high above the level, it's come back and tested it, and all we're waiting for now is to get the first high above the level, the market to prove to us that it's strong and make new highs. Yeah, we took that one because we were a bit greedy, but generally speaking, we start from this one and then we go to this one and then we try to sort of get down here and how close we can get to it and all the rest of it. But because we got this one, we don't need to sort of overdo it. And we'll also look to add on top of the 50 over here as well. So I think it's, even if I've got the count wrong here, it's still bullish, But I'm okay with it for the time being, so I'll leave it like that. And we come to Tesla. We also wanted support on top of group 1 of the major level 2 here. So 1, 2, and 3. So we've got that support. We bought the first high above the level. That's nice safe. We're going to add to this position over here for this. We could probably just look at this as wave 1 here and next wave 2 coming into play. Is that finished there? Maybe, maybe not. But it'll get a bit messy around here, but we'll just wait for that first high above the level and then we'll look to add to that. But everything's going according to plan here. We just had to wait for things to fall into play, and yeah, that's it at this stage. And then we come over to Bitcoin, and this Bitcoin is the same count as the NASDAQ, as we've got wave 1 to the upside, wave 2 back here. The dates are the same, the 7th or the 9th in most tech stocks, So we've got that sort of low in place here, and we're counting up as 1 and 2 and all of this sort of stuff. So it's very much in line with the NASDAQ at this point. And what we're looking for in the bigger picture is this top up here, which will be also the same as the NASDAQ as well. So basically we're just looking for up here for 3, 4 and 5. Will it reach 100,000? Don't know. We should take the top out here though. We'll see how far it goes. Our next step here, because this wave 1 up here is dodgy as hell, and that could also go over here, by the way. And the thing is though, is that that's this 65 here, which is a medium level, halfway between 2 Fibonacci numbers here. And you can see that for whatever reason, it's got it's significant. It's a sort of a not quite a balance point, but it's there. So we really need support on top of this level here to help us prove that the market is strong. So we've got counts that can bring this back down to here, make a new low here. That's quite sort of doable as well, but I'm just lining it up with the NASDAQ and going on that basis. But at the end of the day, the 65 as the support will be the catalyst that dictates direction. So just on the intraday basis, picking it up from this wave 2 low here, I've just counted it up like this here. This is counted up like most tech stocks here. So I've got wave 1 here and 2 here, and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, almost the same as Tesla really. It is actually. So I could put that in here. Don't know, it might get a bit weird on the opening, who knows, but I think I'm sort of on the right track here. Obviously the 65 is going to create havoc, and it'll be hard to decipher the wave count probably and all those sort of things. But once the dust settles, we basically, we're at resistance, and there'll probably be more resistance. But eventually, if we're patient enough, it will develop as support. But at the same time, when I think about it, if, let's just say I got lucky and the count is correct here, we've got wave 2. So we're in the third wave of the third of the third of the third. So maybe it just goes, hot knife through butter, and we just continue straight up, because we're in the third of the third of the third, Fingers crossed, that would be nice. I did manage to pick up some more Bitcoin, which was nice. Alrighty, well that's my 2 bobs worth for a Monday morning. So enjoy the week ahead. Cheers.